But we should stop throwing money at things. Okay, this $1.7 million has been released. I bet you, if we check other West African countries, that is the budget for the entire football federation. In athletics, same problem. All the Caribbean countries put together at time, the money we spend over a 2-week period in the international competition are the money for all the Caribbean countries put together. So we should stop throwing money at people. But if we must give them money, give them benchmarks of performance. Tell them, if you don't do this, we're not going to do that. And if you don't achieve this threshold of result, leave so that another Nigerian would come.
I thought that was already in place.
It is not in place. As I speak to you, there's no policy framework to follow. And if you calculate, we've had practically one minister every year since the democratic dispensation. That's a recipe for disaster. That's a recipe for confusion and planlessness in tow. So what every minister does is when they come in, they start where they like. And then there's internal politics and the little human dynamic that often derail them. So it's very simple. Let's have a policy framework so that any minister, anybody can follow the process. It's so simple. Why we don't do it, I don't know. So we've been talking and repeating the same thing for the past 2 decades.
Well, isn't this actually symptomatic of how the country is? I mean, it's not just in sports, is it? I mean, that people are not planning or being proactive or thinking. I think just like we've been saying all day, there is a screw missing somewhere.
No,
and it's not
you're using that word advisor. Okay, but what some of us keep appealing and keep writing and advising is that politics is a very complex thing all over the world. Even the almighty United States of America. We've seen what happened in the last couple of weeks. But our people should simply leave sports out of the equation. Because sports is what keeps us at times together.
Yes.
The Nigerianness and patriotism often is buttressed with sport.
Yeah.
Then your PR in today's world, Nigeria on many occasions have hired international companies to launder our image and our PR. But you now destroy it with the Falcons that has been in the hotel and protesting like Almajiris for the past 1 week. And these are continental champions. So there's a disconnect somewhere. So what we're appealing.
Yes. Do you know something before you go on? You know, this kind of incident can actually bring us reputation rather than the other way. Because when people see that these girls have had it, and they are ready to do something about it and are bold enough to do it, that itself is a mark.
Of course. And then, like I said, look at the historical antecedent. Dele Udo died, nobody cares, not even a street or anything. Sam Okwaraji died in front of all of us, playing for this country.
I was at that match, actually.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Compare that with an American dying. The president goes there, is draped in American flags.
Yeah.
That alone. I'll give you another simple example. Bahamas in the Caribbean, there are about 300,000 people, say not up to Surulere and Ikeja put together. When I was having all kinds of problems when I was president, I just said, let me visit this small Caribbean country and see why they beat us in World Championship in athletics and all this. And on arrival at the airport, all their former Olympic gold medalists were all up there at the airport.
Yes.
That alone, somebody can die for his country just because of that respect. So I keep telling Nigerians, it is not about the money. Just have a framework, plan a budget for it, particularly now that we don't have money. So you tell these athletes upfront, listen, we don't have money. If you want to compete for us, some would actually come here and compete for nothing. But tell them, be proactive about it, and have a sports policy framework. And I was talking again that the politics or whatever they're doing, let them remove sports out of it. Because sports is what instantly go around the world. Most people around the world start reading from the sports pages. And the power of sports is such that a young Nigerian, J.J. Okocha, on one of the occasions, I think it was when he was in PSG, I came to Charles de Gaulle Airport and I was about to board a plane. And there's this from the roof to half, you know how high Charles de Gaulle. And it's J.J. Okocha's picture. That is the power and the influence of sports. Nigeria should stop trivializing it. And the tragedy is that we end up spending the money anyway. This $1.7 million could have been $250,000. If you called and you planned and you explained, people will still play for this country. But when it's contrived, orchestrated, and you never account for any money. Check in the last 20 years, from All Africa Games to our bid for Commonwealth Games, there has not been one account for sports anywhere.
Are you saying that even in this season of change, there is still no policy and there is still no accountability?
There is none. And there's another problem is, a lot of people who are in Nigeria benefited from the school system. The missionaries, people like us and all that, so many chief executives, they would assist you if you present your problem and you're credible. Up to this moment, I remember asking a few people, where is the website for the female footballers? What are their problems? Ditto athletics, ditto boxing. I want to help. But there's no place to interface. There's no resonance. There's nothing. There's no information. So what that tells you is that people love the fire brigade approach, because in that confusion and in that there's nothing to account for. And like I say, if you check back, nothing has been accounted for in the last 20 years. So what's the chances that something will be accounted? No, anybody would account for anything. It's zero. Now, if Nigeria is serious, let's start with these young ladies. They have brought these things to the fore. $1.7 million. Can we see the breakdown? I bet you're not going to see it. Because every other thing is buried inside that 1.7 million. Because they've held us at the jugular.
Yes.
And we had to do something.
Yes, and thank them very much. Brave Falcons. Continue. Now, let's see.
But for a country, it is PR disaster.
See, there are many people, sports people in some other climes have done the same. You understand? We heard about that in Cameroon some years ago. They've done the same. The thing is, people will admire them for the courage to do it. And they are not like doing it for themselves as we're here. They're like speaking for us sportsmen in Nigeria.
Yes, our collective destiny, because they carry that green, white, green. We can't sit in the comfort of our homes and say, oh, those are the Falcons. It's our image that has gone all over the world. Like I said, people are calling me from every continent. Then what is wrong with your country? And now they're going to read that, oh, the president has now given $1.7 million. And this is a budget for many African countries put together. So there's a disconnect.
Okay, wait, when we come back now, we're going to ask you, what possibly do you think the $1.7 million is for? Is it for their welfare or with the planning? Do you understand? We'll be back on that one.
Thank you.
Okay.